there, I'm Z, and this is a space I'm starting to build. Thank you for lending your ears to this project and hope that you find safety within it. For starters, I want to say that my native language is not English, so it may happen often that I will stumble into my words or my pronunciation might not be the best, so I apologize in advance for accidentally hurting some ears or souls in the attempt of recording a podcast. But the reason why I'm using English is because the most people I know are English speakings, or not natives, but you know what I mean. So yeah, hi, I'm Z. Today we're talking about what this space is and what it represents to me and also to you. Let's say that this is my introduction to you, dear human that is listening to me. At Fault is a story that has been running in my mind for a long time and that ended up evolving into a podcast. Have you ever gone through something, either traumatic or not, where you end up blaming yourself or trying to find a culprit for it? If the answer is yes, or maybe, then this is space for you. This space is for you. Oh my god, I'm terrible at reading. I'm sorry. I'm nervous. Most likely I will be leaving this part in the podcast and maybe I will bring some smiles to the people listening to me. But basically I'm trying to read what I wrote for the chapter, and because I'm nervous, my dyslexia just kicks in a lot more than usual. So apologies for that. I hope that for the future chapters it's gonna be better. I promise I will put effort on that. So my intention is to have open conversations about those things in a way I personally haven't seen or heard, which doesn't mean that it doesn't happen or doesn't exist, but at least I haven't encountered it. This story or idea came to life in my head after going through a very traumatic situation in my life. And to be honest, my best coping mechanism has always been writing and giving voice to those who can raise it. As the chapters evolve, you may understand more this last phrase. And I say because, as I say, I am reading what I wrote, okay? So thank you for your patience in advance. Thank you in advance for your patience. I think I'm gonna make a very unfiltered podcast, to be honest. It's also part of the idea. And also, this podcast will be our little safe space with cozy blankets and coffee or tea or whatever you prefer to drink. Or maybe it will be your safety shield that will accompany you in the quest of your daily life. Which leads me to provide a disclaimer. I am not a mental health professional, and this podcast is not meant to give advice. This will always be an open conversation like the one you can have with a close friend, either about trauma, difficult conversations, or complicated situations that we can sometimes go through in life that are not that comfiest to talk about. If you find yourself in a very dark place though, I will do my best to bring light. However, I encourage you to seek for external help from the bottom of my heart and with all the love I have. I see you, I hear you, and therefore I love you, and I want you to stay. As I mentioned before, this is a safe space I'm starting to build as part of my own healing journey. I want to talk openly about those topics, as I said before, that people hardly mention due to fear or them not being comfortable with it. I want to give a voice to experiences which stories are usually told differently. As I say, I might stumble into my words. Apologies for that. This is a journey to heal my inner child. Some chapters may be inspired by one of my therapy sessions, some others will be just part of my own life story, or in the future maybe other stories that can be told to inspire. Even though the name might feel the contrary, here I'm not looking to put the blame on anyone. Not because I believe that they are not responsible, but because we deserve to live without the pain in our hearts. And trust me, I will dive more into this. As well, in order to keep your mental sanity and to avoid causing triggers, in each chapter I will make a small summary of the story so you can decide whether or not it's a good day for you to listen. I'll always be there for you whenever you decide to come back, and I'll be proud of you for putting your emotions and mental state first. Because you matter, your emotions matter, and the fact that you can be capable or you will want to listen to me doesn't mean that you have to put yourself through something that can or maybe might cause pain to you. When my podcast will always be there, and I will always be there whenever you want to come back, whenever you feel like, hey, today I'm actually more centered, so I can actually listen to this chapter. So that's the reason why you will always have the summary and you can read into it with yourself, that kind of self-checking, like, am I capable of listening to this traumatic situation today? Maybe not. So yeah, that for me matters a lot, and believe me, my heart will be full of pride if you decide to step aside for that chapter. Can even mean that you won't listen to that chapter at all, and then you will just come back whenever a new chapter pops up, because maybe that is something that you can actually deal with and not what I did before. So that's also fine. I'm not here looking for views or ears. I don't know how it's called for podcasts, because I won't be showing my face, so you won't be seeing me, you will be listening to me. So I'm not here for that. I'm here to build a safe space for me, for you, and for every single beautiful human that decides to listen to me. I mean, that is you. I'm weird, by the way. This may happen very often. And you might notice a difference in my voice when kind of like talking / when I'm reading versus when I'm openly talking. So apologies for sometimes sounding robotic and sometimes not sounding so robotic. I am trying to understand how to do this in a smooth way, but I haven't been capable of recording this until now, because I always put it aside saying like, yeah, I just need to be more prepared, and it's these kind of things that if you don't rip the band-aid, you will never do it. So that's why I'm here putting my heart out to all of you. Thank you so much for making the space for me today. Thank you for listening, and thank you for joining me in this journey. I hope that together we learn, we heal, and maybe transform. I'm thankful for your existence and for the platform we're starting to build. Welcome to our safe space, little bug, and see you in our next chapter. Bye-bye.